What's going on, guys? I'm Entei. Throughout the 21 years of the Pokemon anime, we've received a total of 21 movies, which each of the movies hold their own interesting trivia, varying from original ideas, to drama within the production team, to Easter eggs, and much more. So for today's episode of Pat, Pokemon Anime Trivia, we'll be starting to take a look at what I believe is all the most interesting trivia surrounding the Pokemon movies, starting with the original 5. The other 16 movies will get separated into their own videos within the future too, according to the series they debuted in. For example, movies 6, 7, 8 and 9 will be together and nicknamed the Advanced Generation era of movies. Regardless, with that intro now stated though, let's jump right into the first 5 movies trivia. Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back. Before this movie aired back in 1998 in Japan, the original Japanese teaser trailer consisted entirely of scenes from an earlier draft of the movie, such as Team Rocket in a battleship. However, the most notable difference was seeing Misty all grown up with assumably her kids, which many speculate that she shares these kids with Ash due to a scene of her meeting Ash's Pikachu following up later. So because of this, it is commonly believed that this movie was originally meant to be the finale of the series before the anime was renewed for the Johto series, which it has actually been confirmed multiple times over the years that the Pokemon anime was meant to end at certain points, such as the Kanto series, Johto, and even Sinnoh and Kalos. But we'll be exploring that in a later episode of Pat. One of Takeshi Shuda's blogs, aka the original Pokemon anime director, revealed that there would have been an anime episode prior to the movie where Ash and Mewtwo would have crossed paths, but the 3-month hiatus brought on by the episode Electric Shoulder Porygon put that to an end, due to the incident that occurred when that episode aired, which I'm sure we all know what the incident was, and again, if you don't, that will be explored in another episode of Pat. In fact though, while we're on the topics of the movies connecting to the anime, all 5 of the original movies seem to connect to the Pokemon anime in some sort of way. Movie 1 though has the biggest connection due to us receiving scenes of Giovanni training Mewtwo in his Pokemon gym. I sometimes wish that the movies these days would do the same. Talking about original plans, let's explore some other original plans. Mew could originally speak like Mewtwo could, but director Kenichi Yuma figured Mew flying around wordlessly would be more impactful than it drowning to Mewtwo about the meaning of life. Thus, all of its dialogue was replaced with Mew. And I'm glad this change happened, as I can somewhat agree. Plus, you know, it's cute hearing that Mew. Also for original plans though, the scene of Ash saving Pikachu from the cloning machine wasn't originally present, but added by Uama, who believed the film didn't have enough action scenes. And finally, according to Rachel Latias, Misty and Jesse's English dubbed voice actor, Warner Brothers briefly considered replacing the entire cast with celebrities, and even made an offer to Leonardo DiCaprio to voice Ash Ketchum himself, which is just crazy to think about. For sure he would have got an Oscar for that though. Totally. Going back to random trivia, Mewtwo was not originally supposed to appear on screen until the scene of it appearing before the trainers on New Island. The montage depicting its creation and rebellion against Giovanni were later added due to the 3-month hiatus. In addition, a prologue got made for this movie that only appeared in the DVD releases of this film internationally, as Takeshi Shuda was unsure if the tie-in episodes for this movie were there, like I explained earlier, which surprise, they didn't air. So it's lucky that this prologue got made for DVD releases. Finally, for this prologue, it's actually the longest prologue of all the Pokemon movies, lasting 20 minutes in the Japanese version and 12 minutes in the international extended version. According to Takeshi Shuda's notes on the movie, Ash was not killed when Mewtwo and Mew's Psychic Blast collided with him, nor did the tears actually bring him back to life. Instead, the blast caused him to become petrified, and the tears from the Pokemon restored him. Talking about Mewtwo's power too, ain't no Shadow Ball in this movie, a move that wasn't available in the Pokemon games around the time of this movie's release. Also, Blastoise 2 used Rapid Spin and Raymond's Donphan used Rollout, again moves that didn't exist in the Pokemon games yet. Donphan itself was in fact the first appearance of a Generation 2 Pokemon in this movie too, not counting Togepi, as that got introduced in the main series. We also see Snowball and Marrow in the Pikachu short for this movie, Pikachu's Vacation, and as we know from today, this then became a recurring theme for Pokemon movies, a new generation Pokemon appearing in a movie before it releases in the games. Did you also know that this movie marked the only time in the anime that Pikachu is shown going inside a Pokeball, and only the second time he has come out of one, the other being in the first episode, Pokemon I Choose You. However, years later in movie 20, Pikachu goes inside its Pokeball once again. But remember, it's an alternate universe, which we'll explore that later when it comes to the Sun and Moon saga of movies. When taking a look at the commentary for this movie, it remarked that Misty's please no reaction to Ash's death was originally jokingly ad-libbed by Rachel Latias as my bike, when trying to find a workable two-syllable reaction to said event. Good one, Rachel. Finally, for the trivia I picked out for this movie, the movie, along with the two sequels after it, took years to get a Blu-ray disc release thanks to years of disputes between the company Warner Brothers, the licensees of the movies for all territories except Japan, the Pokemon Company, Nintendo, and Toei. By the new 2010s, fans were getting irritated over having to deal with the 4:3 aspect ratio of the DVD and VHS releases, and pushed for disputes to end so they could get the films remastered for high definition. Then, the disputes were finally resolved in December 2015, and a Blu-ray disc release of all three movies in a triple feature steelbook pack was announced for a release in February 2016, in time for the Pokemon franchise's 20th anniversary. At least it finally happened, and during a great time period too. Pokemon for Movie 2, The Power of One. Firstly, this is the first movie where Brock isn't a main character, though he has a cameo. When Professor Ivy calls Professor Oak to inform him of the unstable weather situation, Brock can be seen in the background, running from side to side in a frenzy. The weather situation was kinda caused by the villain, Lawrence III, and his actions were actually set in motion due to an Ancient Mew card, which this is the only movie to feature a Pokemon card. According to the film's screenwriter though, he established that Lawrence isn't actually evil, comparing him to a person called Don Quixotic. Continuing on, four of the movie's characters, Melody, Carol, Marin, and Professor Ivy, actually share their Japanese voice actresses with one character from the anime Sailor Moon. You can see on screen of what characters they played in Sailor Moon. While Professor Ivy is still relevant here too, her first name, along with Ash's mother and Professor Oak, was actually revealed in this movie, and when Professor Oak is talking to Professor Ivy, you can see the Pokemon trading card game symbols as link buttons near the bottom of the screen within the scene. Very nice reference. This isn't the only reference this movie has, of course. There are loads more, but one of my favourites have to come from the scene where Team Rocket are weighing down Lugia. James makes a reference to the diet program Weight Watchers, saying that they should try it, with Jesse replying that it's too late for that. Meowth then refutes, "I heard it's never too late if you really stick to the program." Oh my god. And finally, for the references I picked out, the dub for this movie has Jesse and James undergoing a variation of "That's Good" and "That's Bad" routine from the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 3 short, Clown Without Pity. Finally, for the Team Rocket scenes, this is the only movie in which Team Rocket recites a variation of the motto, and one of the few in which they actually recite a full motto. A scene got cut when it was dubbed. Basically, it had Tracy deduce that the combination of water, electricity and fire on the cages would cause an explosion before knocking Misty and Ash down to seconds before the detonation, giving Tracy some relevance in this movie. The reason why it got cut though was because for kids, the owners of the Pokemon dub back then, feared that Tracy's explanation would have caused the audience to create actual explosives. Okay then. Also, because of religious matters, the three legendary birds and Lugia are referred as Guardians, Beasts, and Titans instead of Gods, which was their original title. Seeming as we've just mentioned the dub, let me tell you that this movie in America was originally going to compete with Disney's Recess Schools Out in July 2000. However, Disney, knowing how big their competitor was, aka Warner Brothers Kids, Disney decided to hold off Recess until February 2001. Kinda interesting. Hey guys, you know how Ash doesn't keep his promises most of the time? Well, Ash actually follows up on an agreement he made with his mother at the end of the film, aka visit her in Pallet Town after visiting every region before heading off to his next destination. If only he could keep over promises though. Remember how I said the original movies connect to the main series of the anime? Well, Ash and Misty directly reference the events of this movie upon meeting Silver during the Royal Islands arc in the Johto series, where they recognize it as a Lugia and mention that they had previously encountered one during their Orange Islands journey. That's great. Finally, for the trivia I picked out for this movie, a person known as Herman Cain infamously quoted the ending song of The Power of One to close his election bid, attributing it to a poet. before he actually thought it was the lyrics to the closing song of the 2000 Sydney Olympics. The Daily Show then took notice of this. Pokemon the Movie 3, Spell of the Unown, Entei. Before this movie came to be the movie as we know it today, it was revealed from Takeshi Shuda that the first draft of the movie had a completely different plot that dealt with the discovery of a T-Rex dinosaur fossil which would be brought back to life and go on a rampage through Kanto, even eventually hitting Pallet Town and Team Rocket's base, bringing the whole organization into the mix to stop this T-Rex too. Of course, as you can see too, this movie would answer the question, what happened to the real animals in the Pokemon world? However, this draft was rejected by the producers as you can guess, but not for being too complicated, but rather because the producers thought it would be too risky. I mean, it's kinda like Jurassic Park by the sounds of it, so I'm sure it would have worked, producers, but oh well. After this, the writing for the movie's plot as we know today began taking place. However, Takeshi Shuda then became hospitalized during the making of the movie, and though he recovered, he didn't feel like going back to work on it. So Takeshi asked Hideki Sanada to finish writing the story. However, Takeshi, upon finding out the woman who shows up during the credits was supposed to be Molly's real mother, who was just in hospital and not dead, made him become outraged. He felt like this went against the story he was originally writing, because he stated that had his own mother been alive, and he was in Molly's shoes, he would have never abducted another person's mother. Hideki misunderstanding his story. As a result of this though, Takeshi never wrote another Pokemon movie ever again, and during the Johto series of the anime, he then left his position of director due to the anime becoming too formulaic, which we'll explore that in another episode of Pat. But man, I feel so bad for this dude, as many producers kept screwing him over. Taking a look at more original plans, a Japanese trailer for this movie actually features a very brief shot of Mewtwo at an entrance to a cave looking out into a thunderstorm, which this could be an indication that Mewtwo was going to appear at some point during this movie's development. Finally, for original plans for this movie, the producers considered having a person known as Sean Connery voice Professor Hale in the English dub, but after the backlash after fans got over the fourth wall jokes in the previous film, the producers decided anything against that might suck them out of the fictional world, including celebrity voices. I don't know about you guys though, but I love the fourth wall jokes. Going back to random trivia now though, this movie, along with the Pikachu short Pikachu and Pichu, marks the first appearance of Ash's Totodile and Noctowl for American audiences. This is because the episodes titled Totodile Duel and Foul Play, in which Ash captures Totodile and Noctowl, did not air in America until after this movie was released. The Totodile Duel aired on May 5th, 2001, and Foul Play in April 28th, 2001, whereas this movie released on April 6th, 2001 in the United States. Moving on, some of the Unown that appear on Professor Oak's computer have not appeared in any other media. However, since they are just drawings, it is possible that they don't really exist in the Pokemon world and only exist in the Unown dimension, if at all. Also, this movie states that the Pokemon Unown are legendary Pokemon, despite the games not classing them as legendary Pokemon. And finally, for the trivia I picked out for this movie, this is the only movie that does not feature either an event-only Pokemon or a new Pokemon, which might explain why I find this movie to be different compared to any other Pokemon movie. This video is sponsored by Threaddiverse. Threaddiverse is an online shop where you can get all sorts of anime, cartoon, gaming, and comics apparel. Pokemon being included in the anime and gaming section too. So much in fact. All the designs are amazingly drawn by their own artists too, and from my own personal experience, the apparel are so comfy to wear, fit nicely, and are top quality. I loved everything. So trust me when I say that you are bound to find something you love from this site. Link is in the description below. And right now for a limited time offer, if you enter the code GEN830 on checkout, you will get 30% off your order. Finally, I also suggest you sign up to their newsletter so you are up to date when they release new apparel, and it will even feature some cool anime and gaming related stuff. Once again, link is in the description below to this site. You don't want to miss out on anything. With that said though, let's jump back into the video. Pokemon the Movie 4, Celebi, the Voice of the Forest. Alright, so there isn't as much trivia for this movie I found interesting compared to the previous 3 movies, but let me start this off by saying that this movie caused an example to occur within the main series. The GS Ball storyline was meant to conclude with the reveal that the GS Ball contained Celebi, in turn leading into a multi-episode story arc. However, when it was decided that Celebi would be featured in this movie, the writers shelved this, and the GS Ball storyline went unresolved to this day, the writers hoping that people would forget about the GS Ball too. But nope, if you're like me, I definitely remembered and was very confused that they just left it out of the picture. This Pokemon movie also marks multiple first events for the Pokemon movies, and even the main series, such as this is the first movie in which a Pokemon evolves, Metapod into Butterfree, the first movie to not feature a talking Pokemon other than Meowth, the first time that a caught mythical Pokemon is featured in the anime, and finally, is also so far the only time that a legendary or mythical Pokemon is caught on screen in the anime. This movie also features a last for Pokemon movies, which is why it does not contain an audio commentary and all the other movies to this date. Finally, for the trivia I picked out for this movie, Meowth actually reverts to the real world when he mistakes the Iron Mask Marauder for a Mexican wrestler. Pokemon for Movie 5, Pokemon Heroes, Latios and Latias. Firstly, Latias was supposed to join Ash on his journey in the series proper. Why this was changed is unclear, but common reasons include the writers not wanting Ash to have a legendary Pokemon to keep the rest of his team from being overshadowed and weak compared to Latias, and wanted to keep the movie separate in continuity from the series proper. Thank God too, as Ash having a legendary would be OP, despite the idea being really cool. Talking about legendary Pokemon too, this is actually the first movie to feature the permanent death of a Pokemon, in this case Latios. It does not get revived, and throughout the movie, images of Mewtwo, Lugia, Entei and Celebi are hidden, referencing the Pokemon featured in the previous films, which is a great Easter egg. Here are some more references too. In a reference to the power of one, Annie and Oakley read about Lance III in prison during the credits. And finally, the director of this movie, Kenichi Yuma, looked to Venice and Italy for inspiration when designing the city for this movie. This also explains why the characters say ciao, as well as the names of Bianca and Lorenzo being present. Go back to random pieces of trivia though, this is the first movie to not feature a remixed version of the season's theme song during the opening credits. Instead, an extended version of Believe in Me with no new lyrics is played. Although the main series switched from its animation process to digital animation by this point, this film, along with the entirety of the Advanced Generation area of movies, was still made with inked and painted cells. This changed with the release of The Rise of Darkrai in 2007, which was the first movie to be completely made with digital animation. Kinda weird how they stuck with inked and painted cells for that long. While on the topic of animation though, for some odd reason, an intense blue tint was applied to the American DVD release of the movie, making most of the colours look darker than in the original, as you can see on the screen. Moving on, this movie was the last Pokemon movie to receive a theatrical release outside of Japan until the movie titled White and Victini and Zekrom, nearly 9 years later. Also, this movie became a box office failure in USA because the non-Japan distributors of this movie, Marimax and Disney, didn't really care at all for the Pokemon franchise and only released this movie to 200 theaters, ensuring its failure pretty much, which is sad. They also did this beforehand with movie 4. Finally, for the trivia I picked out for this movie, the movie states that an Aerodactyl and Kabutops drowned. Though it is possible that an Aerodactyl, a rock-flying type, could drown, it is highly unlikely that a Kabutops, a rock-water type, would have drowned. God damn it, English dub. God damn it. And that concludes all the most interesting trivia I found from the original series saga of Pokemon movies. It was a ton of fun to explore all of this. In fact, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of all of this trivia. I'd love to hear. And if you had as much fun as I did exploring these movies, then be sure to leave a like and a subscribe for future Pokemon content. It helps out a ton. You'll also become a member of the Entei Squad. For now, this is Entei Maze, signing out. Thank you for watching.